welcome to Red Barrel's episode 38. I've just realized my notes here. I failed to write them properly. I think it's 38. Yes, it is 38. I'm going to keep that in. That's raw, baby. That's the real shit you come
We're
to the
just
Red Barrels
people.
podcast for. Exactly. Authenticity. I keep hearing that's what Gen Z loves. Authenticity. I mainly hear that from marketing types, but this is as authentic as it gets. It's real as it gets. And who's real and here with me today?
Me. I'm real and I'm here. And I'm also here today. My name's Sofie. Who else is here and real and today and here?
I
And
think
alive.
me, Ed.
Yeah?
I think I meet at least most of those criteria. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure, but yeah, it's Ed. It's good to have you back along with us for episode 38. I know it's the one you've been counting down to, and finally it's here. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
And I didn't say it, but I'm Alex. And I'm real. I didn't really mean to open a kind of philosophical can of worms, but what is it to be real? Is anyone real?
Such
What
a good
is
question.
reality? I feel we're getting away from the
Well-
raw authenticity I was going for, but this is an inevitable outcome, isn't it, of that kind of thinking? So, consider that influencers.
Yeah,
Consider
this
that.
episode is basically like a new Descartes Meditations on First Philosophy. We're taking it back to the basics, baby.
Yeah,
We're starting from scratch.
We're back. We are the new philosopher kings and queen. I don't think anyone can deny that. Everyone's been saying it. Everyone's been thinking it. So,
Everyone's been saying it.
we just got to follow our vibe. Well, on to the actual episode, and this is a banger. This is incredible. It's not just a normal episode, and I know how incredibly excited you are by normal episodes. This is an extra normal episode. It's super normal. It's above normal. It's beyond normal.
Might even be extraordinary.
Some people are saying it.
That's the word on the
I'm
street.
one of
This is an incredible episode because we have an amazing interview with IWGB Game Workers Chair, Spring McparlinJones. Yeah, she's incredible. Unfortunately, we did the interview separately on a separate little recording that, ultra unfortunately, does not include Sofie. Sofie couldn't make it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it.
She said she missed out on the event of a lifetime. She's going to be kicking herself for the rest of her life. But that's life. But it's ready to go. It's on the docket. I'm going to press play. And you're going to hear it. That's not really how it works. I edit it later, but let's imagine it. But before we do the interview, I can't let us just go straight into an interview. It's too raw. It's too jarring to
We've
go
got to warm up a little bit
exactly
first.
to ascend directly to that greatness. We have to warm up, as Ed says, and there's only one way we can warm up. You
Jumping
know
jacks.
it. I know it. No, it's another round of Who Would Mark's Main.
No!
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite game. Certainly my co-host's favorite game. They live for it. They love
We've
it.
been begging Alex to do more of this, and finally he's come through.
Yeah. And this is a special one. This is a really special one. This is going to be about the game that everyone's been talking about. Hot button topic. That's right. This time we're going to be playing Who Would Mark's Main in Last Flag. That's right. I know you both know exactly what Last Flag is. I know that every listener knows about Last Flag, the internationally famous game. No, I am kind of bluffing here. This is a quite obscure game because it completely
the one
crashed and died.
founded by Imagine Dragons.
That's what it is. That's right.
What?
I remember this
yeah.
one, yeah. Well, it was by Dan Reynolds from
What?
Imagine Dragons,
Yes,
but still.
that's right. It's the game co-founded by Dan Reynolds, one of the duo of Imagine Dragons, everyone's favorite band. I'm saying that with a laugh.
Wow.
And it kind of failed. It's already only launched a little while ago, April 14th. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And they've already announced they're going to do one final update, and then that's it. It's done.
Wow.
I heard it wasn't even bad. I heard it was actually pretty decent.
It was
Like,
a hero shooter based around
Yeah.
capture the flag. And the twist was you could move the flag around. You had to hide the flag in the environment of your team. That's basically the
Listen,
twist.
not to be too woke, but the female representation in this is terrible.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
Yeah,
if
haven't
you
even
haven't seen it, I'm
I
haven't even opened the character list
I'm
yet.
posting the contestants, it calls it, list in here. There are two ladies. Three ladies.
There are
three ladies.
three.
Out of nine.
Three, and they are all just like tiny and skinny.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It's not great, no.
This is
And
the
they
one
all
where
have, yeah.
when they announced they were stopping the game, they said that they are giving it to the community. So I'm interested to see what that is, like, and how that fits in with the stop killing
Yeah, what
games
does that
stuff.
mean?
Yeah, maybe they're doing the right thing. But I mean,
And also, this
would
isn't a
Imagine
live
Dragons let
service
us down?
game,
Yeah.
and a lot of these are live service games, but this isn't. So maybe this one is more viable to be continued by the
Could be. Yeah, I mean,
by the
imagine
community in some way.
it could
But
potentially
anyway,
be set up to have.
these are not the questions you asked, Alex. What you asked
It's
Mm.
true. Who would
was
Mark's
who would
main?
Mark's
Who would
main?
Mark's main? Obviously, I've already
mean-
consulted. I've consulted the works. I've studied up on Capital and various other, not even just other Marxist thinkers that
Really?
that
Like who?
influences. Gramsci, he's one.
Yeah.
I don't like you put me on the spot like that, Ed. I don't like your tone.
I feel like
don't
it was
your
a
tone.
soft. I feel like it was a soft question, and I'm glad that you came through. If you hadn't been able to give us Gramsci, you'd be in big trouble. You'll be
Yeah.
off the pod.
And that informs my
What did you read from
my.
Gramsci? Sorry.
Don't like this. I don't like this needling, Ed. I don't like this needling.
Presumably prison
No one
notebooks,
denies.
but-
No one
Presumably
can
prison
deny.
notebooks.
No one can
You would
deny.
think prison notebooks, wouldn't you?
You'd
Prison
think,
notebooks,
yeah.
of course. I am the world's greatest authority on Marxist thought. And,
well.
Gave
and
that to
by
you for
using
free.
that and the power of historical materialism, I've determined who of these heroes in this hero shooter Marx would main. And he's now
Okay.
up to you. It's up to my co-host to determine what the correct answer is.
Well, I've already decided.
Okay.
I want
all right,
to hear the
let's
answer,
it.
Sophie.
Let's hear it.
But I don't. I mean, I feel like it's got to be Peter Mäkinen, the lumberjack.
The lumberjack.
Oh, sure.
The lumberjack,
Because of the beard.
because
of the beard.
of the beard and the hair, and I feel like being a lumberjack is also a pretty working class job. It's also one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, as is being a communist.
True.
So
Good
That
point.
is true. That is true. I'm not saying it's right,
Very good
right
point.
on this matter, but those are true
Yeah.
facts. You have said.
Yeah.
yes, he also has an axe.
Oh, good point.
Which, kind of like,
But like a hammer or a sickle kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
it's kind of like a
sickle.
hammer and
Yeah,
sickle
it's
combined.
kind of
right,
hammer and
isn't it?
sickly. Yeah. Lumberjack.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
I mean-
that's my answer.
I'm not going to lie. I was also on Lumberjack, and
Mm.
basically purely because of the beard. I just couldn't look away from that beard.
Wow.
It's got
Mhm.
Marx's name all over it. And if you're going to tell me it's anyone other than Lumberjack, Alex, I'm
If
going to
you're
need
gonna
some
tell me it's
pretty
fucking
convincing argumentation.
Knives right now.
Oh, it's definitely not knives. It's definitely not knives.
Definitely knives. Though,
It's
you know,
definitely not
gonna
Bounty
be-
Hunter.
Though,
Can't
you
be
know,
Rhodey
I do
because
think-
Rhodey is like, I don't know, kind of looks like Marx, but is an electrical engineer, and I don't know. I don't know.
Go on,
Could
Alex.
be Rhodey, I
Put
suppose.
us out of our misery.
Well, unfortunately, both of my co-hosts are wrong and not very good Marxists. The correct answer.
Says the
Is-
man who didn't know what prison notebooks was.
I knew it's prison notebooks. What's this
We
about?
gave that to you.
No one
You
said
gave
that.
that
No
for
one
free.
said that. No one said that.
We gave that to you.
Of course, I know prison note. What do we?
This
talk-
guy's probably never even heard of Engels.
I've been to Engels' statue in Manchester. It's next to the
That's
Pizza
okay.
Express.
That's
Everyone
not
knows
Gramsci
that.
though.
I
Not
never said
Gramsci,
What
though.
about Gramsci? What about Ed brought Engels? I'm
Engels
not-
statues. That's not Gramsci.
I never
Different
mentioned.
guy.
I talked about Gramsci separately. No one's saying they're the same person. What are we talking about? I don't like.
Alex,
We were talking about Gramsci.
Yeah, but then Ed
Alex.
said he didn't know. I wouldn't know who Engels was, and I said I've been to his statue.
I did say that. I did say that.
Oh,
So-
okay.
I really don't like this tone that's been there. This is.
Listen, I've been
No.
to a Cecil John Rose statue, and I hardly knew who that was for a while. So I think you could easily go to the statue of a person and not know who they are.
Look,
Well-
we're just razzing you, Alex. You know, we've
We're
seen
just
your,
razzing
we've
you. We
seen the
believe
fat
you. We
tomes
believe your
behind you
predations.
Exactly, look
where
at
you
yeah.
him.
speak.
Look at 'em.
Look at those books.
That are
I mean,
definitely
the audience are
yours.
just going to have to trust us. There's a lot of books
Yeah.
there.
lot of books. lot of books.
Presumably, a lot of that is Marx, right, Alex?
Right?
Let's say yes.
At least one of them is Gramsci's notebooks.
They're also my books that I've all read all
That
of
you
them.
personally own.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, no, the correct answer. I know people on TED Talks to know.
Sorry, go on.
It is Tango, aka
Oh, I knew you were
Alejandro.
going to say tango.
I knew you were going to say
I knew you were
tango.
gonna
He
say
is
tango.
a Mexican or at least Latin American kind of guy. He's wearing a poncho. And what you're not getting here is his clear Zapatista vibes. They're clearly vibing on the Zapatista vibes
Oh,
here.
picked up on the
Look at that.
Zapatista vibe.
Alex,
They're
are they?
leftist. They're
Yeah,
the most
are they?
leftist of any of these, of any of this
Not
organization, these
not necessarily
heroes. Of
the
the
most
heroes on here,
Marxist though.
on here, they are. Who else? What other leftist organizations are these here? Lumberjack is not a leftist
Lumberjacks.
organization. Right?
What are you
Yeah.
talking about? They're the most radical left-wing
Zapatista, they do a lot of
faction
good work.
Yeah.
in
He
the
wore a little
international
red
working class.
scarf. Tango's wearing a red scarf. His strap of his guitar even has roses on it. And yeah, sure, the
Roses,
rose,
which is a
the rose.
symbol of parliamentary socialism.
Well, the rose. I'm just
social
saying,
democracy.
the rose has
Oh,
failed
dear.
in recent years because of the Labour Party, but it's been used in many other many other instances. The DSA in America used the rose. It's not just the Labour Party, all right. So anyway, look, the voice of Marxism has spoken. The answer is tango.
But
You guys got it wrong.
But
We can move on and live for another day.
but-
Oh,
I'm
Alex.
not throwing you. I'm not purging you for it.
but
But what?
Alejandro has wandered from town to town playing music in bars, hoping his songs might find an ear. A talent scout spotted him and made him an offer. Place on last flag. And I don't know. That feels kind of...
It's a talent scout for the Last Flag
bougie.
games or whatever.
Yeah.
The law of this game is it's quite thin, the law here.
Yes, as are your reasons. For...
Hey. But no one can deny that when it comes to Marxism, I'm thick. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it.
I think you were gonna say he's lumberjack or tango, depending on whichever one we picked, and then you just swapped it last minute.
I do my due diligence. I check this out beforehand.
All right.
I do the analysis.
I'm
And
just
I'll tell you something.
concerned that reveals a real idealism at the heart of your politics, Alex. And I don't know what that says going forward.
Yeah, I don't know this. We already saw the fractures
Anyway.
begin in this organization in the previous episodes, and are they getting worse? I don't want to contend with it, but maybe they are. But anyway, we've got an interview.
You will like, Alex.
Yeah, the interview. We've got an interview to get to. We're going to interview. It's a great one. It's a banger. Spring McparlinJones from the IWGB. Hear it now. And hello, and we're here. It's the interview bit. Unfortunately, Sofie can't be with us, but Ed's here. Say hello, Ed.
Hello, Ed.
But most excitingly, of course, we have with us Spring McparlinJones, the chair of the Game Workers branch of the IWGB. Please say hello, Spring.
Hello, Spring.
Well, exactly. It's already going. Yeah, so thanks so much for coming, Spring. Really appreciate you being here. And just as a kind of a bit of a disclaimer, we've said it before on the podcast, but especially myself and Ed we are quite connected to the IWGB union. We are friends with people there. We've worked with them on the Games Transform Festival that we help organize. So this is not a terribly unbiased interview. Just get the disclaimers out there. We're compromised. If you were expecting a full takedown of the IWGB, you're probably not going to get one here unless this interview goes really bad. But I'm sure it won't. We're very nice and we like the IWGB. We're fanboys. That's what we're into this for. So just to put our cards on the table. How are you feeling about all this, Spring? Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, no, happy to get on with it. Happy to get into it, I guess.
All right, great. So, why don't we just start off with a primer, kind of just basically just what is the IWGB and how did the kind of game workers branch of it start off in the first place?
Sure. I have to preface everything I say on this topic with the disclaimer of I'm kind of like third generation at this point, so I wasn't here for a lot of the founding of the branch and stuff. Like I've heard sort of, I've absorbed a lot of that information over the years, so I can kind of give an idea. So the IWGB, that's the Independent Workers of Great Britain, was founded it's around the start of the 2010s, I want to say like 2012 or something, by a group of immigrant cleaners who were working in London, who were dissatisfied with the treatment that they had received from some of the more established older unions. And they thought, well, we would do better on our own, so let's just do it on our own. And they founded the IWGB. Since then, a bunch of different branches have been added to the union, so we now represent security guards, private hire drivers. Like, there's a yoga teachers branch. Like, we represent all sorts of folks. And yeah, over the years, the game workers branch joined. The origins of that came from there was a big GDC where there was sort of the start of the big push for unionization in the games industry. I want to say it's 2018, but I don't have my notes on that with me right now, unfortunately.
That's all right. That's all right.
But yeah, so that created the Game Workers Unite movement, and different unions start springing up under the terminology of Game Workers Unite UK or Game Workers Unite Ireland. Game Workers Unite Ireland still exists. They're friends of ours. And yeah, Game Workers Unite UK kind of linked up with IWGB and ended up becoming an official branch, at which point we kind of dropped the Game Workers Unite branding. But yeah, we have been working with the IWGB for 7 years now. Again, someone would have to fact check these numbers because this was all before my time.
It's all right.
But yeah, we've been growing. It's been an uphill battle at times because unionization is a very fresh concept for the games industry, we found, and a lot of people. It's not even that they're negatively polarized against unionization or anything. They just kind of don't know what we're talking about when we go and say we need a union. So that's been an uphill battle, but it's been going well. We had our first officially recognized union contract in the UK last year. That was really exciting. That was Studio, and yeah, we've been in the news quite a bit in the last 6 months due to developments at Rockstar.
Yes, we've covered these pretty extensively on our podcast. I think any listeners, regular listeners, and frankly everyone who's listening should be a regular listener. And if you're not, I'm very disappointed in you. But you should be well aware of these things because it's a pretty common topic. What about kind of you? How did you personally kind of get involved in this, and what does a chair of the branch do?
So I always say that I kind of fell into the place I'm in now. So going way back, going back 10 plus years, I did want to join the games industry. I did want to be a game developer. And then through watching a lot of Giant Bomb and a lot of games media coverage, I got very I built up a very pessimistic attitude towards the games industry once I kept hearing stories of crunch and layoffs and just all the horrors that come in the games industry. So I switched degrees. I got a degree in computer science and became a front-end web developer. A few years back, when I was hunting for a job, it just so happened there was a game studio near me that was looking for front-end developers, and I, after kind of giving up on the dream for a while, ended up in the games industry. And because I had heard all those stories, I was like, okay, I know I need to join a union. So yeah, I found the IWGB. A few months into my time here, there was a call out that they were looking for someone to take over as the Women and Marginalized Genders Officer, and I was like, I'm a trans woman. I feel very passionate about that topic. So I was like, yeah, I'll sign on to that. That sounds like a good time. And yeah, it went quite well. I kept taking on more responsibilities. And a year later, when the former chair, one of our founding members, Austin Calmore, stepped down from the position, I was like, I could probably do that. And a year in, it's going pretty well. I can do that, it turns out. So my day-to-day sort of responsibilities it's mostly admin work. I set the agenda for meetings. I have conversations about budgets and stuff like that. I've been trying to give a lot of attention to media stuff and making sure that we're getting the message out. I think that's a very important thing at this point in our life as we're trying to sort of take a bigger slice of the industry under our wing, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just trying to get the message out that I'm trying to make people understand why the games industry is the way it is, why a union would help resolve some of the issues that the industry is facing, and also, yeah, just trying to help the health of the industry, I suppose. Because I do believe that a strong union is absolutely good for the health of the industry, and the industry is suffering in the moment. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of getting into the general concept of a union and in the games industry, what do you think that a trade union can bring to help game workers, and how does that kind of interact, those two worlds?
I think I take a bit of a almost cynical view of it, that I think a mini crusade that I've been on for a little while is that I kind of want to strip conversations of passion and of just kind of removing the passion economy from the industry, because I think we've reached a point. I mean, we've always kind of been in this situation where a lot of people get into the games industry because they're passionate about video games, and I feel like that makes us uniquely vulnerable to exploitation. If there's stock of people who are committed to, I just want to work in games, I won't go anywhere else, I'm just looking for games jobs, they will kind of take a lot more abuse and a lot worse working standards than someone who is more open to just like whatever the job comes along, I suppose. So I think something that the union can help is making sure that like we're still able to follow our passions. Like those passions aren't going to go away, but making sure that people's passion isn't being exploited and that people are being treated fairly in the workplace, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, I a million years ago, I did a degree in computer game design, and then I ended up not working in the games industry for a number of reasons, but partly because it just seemed so terrible, kind of similar to you, I
Mm.
guess. But back at that time, this is the like mid 2000s, I had, I consider myself a socialist on the left, and I thought, oh man, it'd be great if we had a union, but I considered it just a no hope because everyone else on the course was just like, our lecturers were telling us, yeah, you'll probably end up working 90-hour weeks. And they were just like, all right, I really want to work in games though. So I'd probably do it for
Yeah.
free. And I just, that threat. And as I said, I was quite skeptical about any possibility. And this was like well before various newer leftist and union movements kind of came up. I mean, before the IWGB even existed. But, so it really heartened me to see that I was wrong and that there is actually an appetite for it. But that is definitely a particularly like unique issue for the games industry. Just that there's so much of a drive to do it,
Mm.
regardless of all the massive downsides that are arrayed against you.
Can I ask a question on that actually? Obviously, we've got the IWGB Game Workers branch as like a healthy factor in the games industry, but obviously overall the games industry is in kind of a difficult state right now. GDC in their State of the Industry report in January found that 28% of game devs have been laid off in the previous 2 years. Obviously, that's awful for the people being laid off. And do you get a sense of those people? Is there a large pool now of unemployed game devs, or people leaving the space entirely, or jobs being made and then cut and then made and then cut? Do you have a sense of that?
I can't give a massively informed answer. Like I don't have the data to back up a thesis, really. I think we've seen both. Like we have seen a lot of people leaving the industry. And I think that's, it's terrible for them to have to like retrain in a different industry. It's terrible for the industry for losing that talent. And it's just the personal toll on that is atrocious. But there are definitely people who like are committed to, I'm going to wait until the health of the industry improves. And I'm gonna get back into games no matter what it takes, which I'm almost tempted to discourage. Like as much as I want people to stay in games, I also want to say to people, you need to look out for yourself. You need to, you have to pay rent ultimately. And I think,
Yeah. And then what impact is that having on the people still in the industry? Like we were talking about how the conditions were really bad when Alex was looking at the industry 20 years ago, but with this like large pool of unemployed workers, traditionally that means that, capitalists can exploit you even more aggressively. Are we seeing that filter through? Are people's working conditions who stay behind getting worse?
I think we have seen a bit of that, but I think we're also seeing an effect of like now that unionization is seriously on the table, and now that we are starting to see a stronger workers' rights movement within the games industry, I think, and as well as we are seeing low morale affect a lot of these companies because of people's anxiety about like the risk of being laid off. I think we are seeing companies kind of realize that they can't take it all anymore. Like they can't like take everything from their employees. They have to give something back. Otherwise, people will quit or people will unionize, and I think managers don't want either of those. So it's a difficult balance that I think they're trying their best to hit, and I think they're not like I think they're failing a lot of the time. But
Sure.
yeah,
So yeah, pretty much the main reason we're having you on now is because Zaun, the creators of Disco Elysium, asterisk, are putting out a new game. And of course, as we've discussed on the podcast, they are the UK's first ever unionised game studio. Pretty much, I mean, I think the greatest achievement of the game workers branch so far, I'd say. Yeah, so I just kind of want to hear about kind of how that happened and how it's going. Yeah,
sure.
what can you tell us about that?
So unfortunately, I can't talk as much about sort of how that happened. Literally, my first act as chair was signing the document that was written at the end of that process. Like I came in right at the end, so I can't talk.
It's pretty
much
good
about...
first day. Pretty good first day.
Yeah, I always joke that like I took over and immediately we had the Zaum stuff coming out. Then Build a Rocket Boy imploded, and then Rockstar did the thing that Rockstar did. So it all kicked off as soon as I took over. But
Well,
yeah,
that's the spring magic right there.
Yeah. The dawn of
yeah,
spring.
that tends to be the effect I have. I show up and things get noticeably more chaotic. But yeah, no, it's so yeah, I can't talk so much about the steps preceding that, but I can talk to like I do have a good relationship with a few of our members several of our members at Zaum, and especially a couple of the reps involved in sort of like managing the conversations with management. Yeah, so I can talk a bit about the current situation there. I spoke to a friend of mine who worked at Zaum to sort of prepare for this. And yeah, the message that I received from them was that like it's still the games industry, there are still problems to be worked through, and the union is helping massively to resolve those issues, but generally things have improved significantly in the last year. Um,
Mm.
Obviously the new game is coming out soon, and like I follow multiple people from Zelm on Instagram, and like they're all posting about it nonstop. They're all super excited for it. They're all very passionate about the work they're doing, and like I do think it's a shame that the conversations around Zelm has come to focus so much on the issues facing that the management have been facing, because ultimately, from my
Mm.
perspective at least, Zelm is its employees so much more than it is the managers, and I want them to succeed. And part of that is the selfish perspective of like, I want them to succeed because if they don't, it looks really bad for the union. But also I want them to succeed because like there are a lot of people who work there, and I want them to be able to keep their jobs, and I want them to thrive. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on the podcast a bit, but kind of like our overall position is that we've talked about what we call Zalmageddon and the whole drama around that a lot, because there's juicy gossip there. There's no getting around it, and we all love how much it feels like leftist you know sectionalism and sectarianism and stuff. So that's fun. But the realities of it is that, there are people who work there and they're working hard to make a game that they care about. And, there's so much negativity about Zero Parade and the whole thing. And our kind of position is that if you cared about the ideology of Disco Elysium, which certainly we do and I do, then you should probably give the UK's first ever unionized game studio more slack. Right? Yeah, I find it very frustrating that a lot of the criticisms don't really seem to take into account the actual kind of, frankly, ideological
Mm.
milieu of the whole thing, which is ridiculous when we're talking about the studio that made Disco Elysium, or at least that is the reason why people are so animated about this issue, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people who work at Zaum, like, if they weren't part of the Disco Elysium team, which I know some of them will have come in later, like, they joined
Mm,
because they were excited about that project, and they were excited about the ideas presented in Disco Elysium. Like, this is
mm.
an incredible group of people. Everyone I've met at that company has been, like, tremendous to speak to and get to know, and yeah, I wish them the best success, because I think everyone who I've met there deserves it, and I'm really excited to see how the game does.
Yeah, I mean, we're planning to play it. Unfortunately, that game comes out at literally the worst possible time in my personal life, and I edit the podcast. I'm going through a lot of upheaval right now, so I'm not sure exactly when we'll get to it, but it will be soon. And I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think it looks really interesting. Yeah.
Me too, and I really enjoyed the demo, so I'm
Oh yeah.
excited.
Yeah. I held off the demo. I don't want to spoil it for myself. I want to do the whole thing at once.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Yeah. Okay. Well, Zaum aside, as I say, the IWGB has had a lot of apparently entirely under your watch, Spring. A lot of drama and excitement going on. So why don't we move on to the next bombshell, which is all the things that happened with Rockstar. So I said we talked about this in the podcast, and of course we'd recommend that everyone go watch People Make Games' reporting on this matter if they haven't already. But what's your kind of view on the situation there? And yeah, do you have any kind of updates as well?
I can't give any updates. It's an ongoing legal situation.
Of course, yeah,
Obviously,
of
I
course.
need to be very careful about what I say there. But yeah, as for the sort of what happened and how things have been since then, obviously the initial event was kind of a catastrophe. Frankly poorly handled on Rockstar's part. Like, you know,
Mm.
Mhm.
kind of regardless of how the legal situation goes, I think anyone can look at that and say that was poorly handled. It seemed like the impression that we got was that they were not expecting any blowback, which is kind of ridiculous to me. Like
Yeah, it's
I don't
bizarre.
know how you could think you could do something like that. That you could like unilaterally fire 31 people plus 3 in Canada and face no consequences in what seems to me as a pretty direct violation of, just basic workers' rights. So obviously that's a mess. But as for what's been happening since then, I I believe in the union. I always have, but like nothing has solidified that belief as much as seeing how the affected workers have come together and how they've persevered through like such like really difficult times. But yeah, just the strength of spirit amongst them, the strength of solidarity amongst them. It's been the most amazing thing to watch. Like they have been putting on fundraisers recently in Edinburgh. There's another one coming up towards the end of the month, I think, and it's seeing the passion that goes into those projects. Coming up on 6 months after the initial firings, it's so incredible. It might be past 6 months actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Wow, time flying.
Yeah, I remember. I have a very strong memory. This isn't news, but just a fun anecdote. I remember because the news came out on Halloween. I was walking to a Halloween party, and like a member of the comms team messaged me, which is like, "We need to talk right now." Because the situation, like Jason Schreier was like actively in the process of breaking it, and yeah, it's been a long 6 months, but it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, you guys have been doing incredible work for them, and it has been, I mean, again, God knows I don't know the legalities of what's happened, but I think certainly on a moral level, what they've done has been terrible, and the idea that they thought they could just do that and no one would notice or something, or it would just be completely swept under the rug is bizarre, especially when, we see these stories of these people and what they've been going through. I mean, there were a number of people who were fired who were on work visas. Have they managed to stay in the country so far?
I'm not completely up to date with all of them, but I believe at least a couple of them have had to leave the country since then.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was a really awful situation. We had I'm not sure what you call it, the trial or whatever for, I'm blanking on the terminology, but basically like the initial trial in January that would have given them more protection and like given them, basically required Rockstar to continue paying them during the trial. And unfortunately, we weren't able to clear that. It's a high threshold to meet, so we weren't able to clear it, unfortunately. But yeah, we've remained resolute that like we very strongly believe in our case. We are very confident moving forward, but it has meant that some of our members have been put in incredibly unfair situations.
It seems like you've had a lot of support for it as well. Like, I mean, just this week you posted about the 3 Scottish MPs who have spoken out in favour of your side of the situation. How did that come about? That's really good to see.
I can't talk so much about that, just not because I'm not allowed to, but I simply don't know. A lot of that kind of happens without my direct input. So sometimes I just log onto the Discord and, there's some MP talking about us, which is always an interesting surprise. But yeah, it's been really exciting. We've had support from like several different political parties. And yeah, it's really exciting to see that like, and I think the biggest like show of support from outside the sort of gaming community was, I'm blanking on his name, I apologize, but we had a retired lawyer. I don't know the terminology. I don't know his exact job title, but who heard about the situation and has basically taken on the entire case pro bono because of how strongly he felt about the abuse of the employees that happened at Rockstar. So yeah, we've received a ton of support from like obviously the gaming community have been like very supportive of us, and that's been huge. Like there's always something we always have to think about when working in games is that like a lot of people play games and a lot of people have very strong opinions about games, and you're gonna hear those opinions. They are going to tell you their opinions. And the fact that the gaming community has been mostly supportive of us has been really exciting. But yeah, the support from outside of that community as well has also been incredible. Like it's weird to be like maybe not the biggest story of the day, but like we are kind of international news, and that's terrifying and exciting. And yeah, it's
Yeah, I'd say it has been the reaction to it online was surprisingly heartening. I kind of thought, because as I said, we had some connection in IWGB. I heard rumblings about this kind of, well, not the firings, but the union working within Rockstar for a while, and I thought, oh man, interfering with GTA 6 feels like that's a minefield, which I'm glad I don't have to deal with.
It's very funny because like when we were like working on like organizing a Rockstar, we did have considerations of like we need to be very careful of like when we announce things, when we talk about things publicly, because if it like we clash with Like, if we do that and then a week later GTA 6 gets delayed, people will connect it to us, and that we need to be ready for that. And then Rockstar fire a bunch of workers and then delay GTA 6 a week later. And it's like, okay, they weren't thinking about that apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I'd say when that happened, I really thought, oh, people are going to like blame the union. But then the general feeling seemed to be that they blamed Rockstar, which I mean, if literally nothing else, I think that shows how far things have come in the past like decade or so. Because
I
I
think
think a while ago they definitely wouldn't have come to that conclusion.
I agree, yeah. Oh, I mean, to an extent, but I think at the end of the day, I think people understand that the majority of the game community are working class. They're, they work for a living and they see people being, like, having their rights as workers be so flagrantly disrespected. They know which side they most align with, I suppose, or that they have the most in common with. And they kind of do just see it as, like, this is a simple case of a boss taking advantage of a worker, and they know which side they fall on. They know they fall on the side of the worker because that's,
It's very true, very true. Kind of speaking of Rockstar, not entirely unrelated, is the other subject that you mentioned earlier, one of our favorite subjects on the podcast because of how weird it is. And that's Build a Rocket Boy. Ed's our resident Barb expert for his sins. What a thing. Put that on your CV. Yeah, so Ed, I don't know if we want to take lead on it, but like basically, I think our general question is like, what on earth is going on at Build a Rocket Boy? That you can talk about.
yeah. What is going on? I mean, they had their big like DLC release where they claimed to name the saboteurs. I was very disappointed that I wasn't one of them, unfortunately.
That is disrespectful.
I know.
Why wasn't Spring there?
That's what I'm thinking every day of my life. Why aren't I in this? Why aren't people paying attention to me?
Are we sure you're not in it? I don't think anyone played that game to check.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't play it, but I looked at PC Gamer and they didn't say my name, so I'm like, I guess I wasn't in there. But yeah, no.
We've spoken a little bit about a few different organizations here: Barb, Rockstar, Zaum, and in their public-facing aspects, the organizations have taken like slightly different responses in some ways. Let's say like Barb and Rockstar have not taken a very pro-union stance publicly, whereas Zaum, the president, has like publicly said that they sort of supported it. That they say it was clear that recognizing a union was core to our values as a studio, is a direct quote from the president of Zaum. And I was wondering how the sort of position of management factors in to like what the work that you're doing, and would it change the advice that you'd give to workers in that situation?
Yeah, I think you always have to tailor the campaign to the workplace. Like, we have workplaces where management have been receptive. Like, there's a story that I've heard a couple times of a smaller studio in Northern Ireland who, like, the workers put together a petition for a 4-day work week, and management were like, oh, yeah, we can try that. And it was totally receptive. It was a conversation. And yeah, the workers' voices were heard without too much pressure from our side. At the same time, we've had situations, there's a quote that a friend of mine loves that is someone from management of some studio or another described it as feeling like they had let the wolf into the chicken coop from while they were talking to the union, which I very strongly believe a healthy or like a good union presence at a company is beneficial for the workers, obviously, and for management, like, which I think is often difficult for them to understand. But I think a strong union presence holds management accountable. It holds them. It makes sure that they aren't just taking their workers for granted, which I think is a trap that a lot of managers fall into that will often end up hurting the company in the long run. So yeah, I strongly believe that the presence of a union is a stabilizing factor. So yeah, as far as management goes, it does vary wildly, and it is something that we have to keep in mind when we're working in specific studios. Yeah.
And if you're a worker who's in a non-unionized workplace, to what extent do you need to factor in like management external attitudes, or is it always a case of you always need to be as like covert as possible until you've got something up and running?
I think it's feeling the vibe in the room. Like I was talking to somebody whose studio has like they don't have a recognized union, but they are allowed to like have union flyers in the office. They're allowed to discuss the union publicly, and that is a little bit of the whims of management, which is difficult. Like, we would never recommend that you start there if you're trying to organize a workplace. But that was a situation where, management were open to letting that conversation happen, I suppose.
Mhm.
So it really is just...
I mean, I guess the obvious follow-up from that would be, where would you recommend people start?
It sounds so basic, but just make friends in the workplace. Like,
Mhm.
talk to your coworkers, build relationships, and then, like, often the best way to get someone in the union is don't start by saying, hey, you should join the union, and start by saying, work's been a bit of shit lately, hasn't it? Or this thing has gotten worse. Or don't you think that someone could have handled the situation better in management? Like, it starts with just like pointing out ways that things could be incrementally better and then building on that over time.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's not easy. I understand that I work in an industry full of introverts, and that's maybe not the easiest thing to do. It's especially difficult in the age of like a lot of people working from home. It's really difficult to build those
Mm.
relationships. But those relationships are key to building an organized workforce, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I guess this is a kind of a bit of a cheeky question, to which I assume the answer is no. But is there kind of any actions or something you're planning and working on in the future that are coming up that you could talk about?
No. Well, like I'll talk
Fair
a bit.
enough. Fair enough.
I can talk a little bit. Like,
Mm.
we are actively negotiating recognition agreements at other studios than just Sound. Like,
Mm.
we working on that in other places. We are making progress in certain places, which is about as specific as I can get.
Mhm.
We are undertaking actions at a few different studios, which, again, like, I can't get into specifics, but they're all very
Mm.
tailored for those specific studios and those specific situations. So we're busy, but the realities of the work is that we often can't talk about it until after we're finished and after the ink
Yeah.
is dry. So yeah.
Well, I will cross off my next question of asking exactly how much is in the strike fund, and
Sure.
then
Never enough,
and then
I think, is the answer.
yeah, very true, very true. And yeah, want to just kind of finish up saying, like, what are your kind of hopes for the IWGB game workers in the future? Like, what way? How do you hope things are going to go? What can you kind of see things coming up in general?
I had someone ask me this not long after I took over as chair. The answer that came to mind that was kind of a joke was world domination, which obviously, it's a playful, it's a funny thing. But like also, yeah, kind of world domination. Like, we kind of want to get to a point where, like, the dream is every game studio in the UK has a union presence. Maybe it's not a recognition agreement. Maybe it's not like 100% of members or staff that are unionized, but there's a union presence in every single company. Everyone is
Mm,
aware of the union. Maybe not everyone's a member, but everyone considers the union. And the model that we love to think about and that we love to aim for, sort of long, like pie in the sky goal, is the Hollywood model of like, unions are always part of the conversation. Unions are something that you have to respect if you want to work in film a lot of the time.
mm,
And we're not there yet.
yeah.
We're a long way off from that. Like, we started less than 10 years ago, and we've only really started to like see meaningful like jumps forward in the past 4 years. So I have no illusions of that happening within the time that I'm chair, even. But we're making great
Mm,
progress. Situations like Rockstar, I think, as terrible as they are kind of inflection points for the industry where we do see the importance of a union. And I think
mm.
stuff like that, while on a personal level is terrible, on a like cold, cynical, strategic level is good for us. Like, so yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm eternally optimistic about the work we're doing and about how we're growing. It's just it's a marathon, you know. It's going to take a little
Mhm.
while to see all that come to fruition.
Yeah.
One thing that was really good to see was you met in, I believe, November, multiple other unions from
Yes.
a variety of different countries. I wondered, how did that come about? Like, what do you foresee coming out of that? It was really exciting to
Yeah, that
see.
was really incredible. So myself and two other members of the IWGB committee traveled to Paris to meet with representatives from, see if I can do this off my head. It was the STJV in France, Game Workers Unite Ireland from the Republic of Ireland, CSVI from Spain, Verdi from Germany, and FIOM from Italy. Got all of them.
I'm
Nice.
impressed. I can even
Thank you.
remember what the letters of the French one are.
I have a few friends in the STJV, so yeah. Also, every time news comes out from the STJV, I just think to myself, God, I wish we were doing that. There's like, it's a joke to talk about like how strong unions are in France, but I look at them and
Mm.
I'm just jealous. It's incredible.
Oh, the dream. The dream.
Yeah. So yeah,
Something to aspire to.
yes. And speaking of STJV, actually, I mean, it was in Paris. Obviously, they hosted. The way it came about was they made the decision that they wanted to focus international collaboration more in their work. So they put together the summit. They invited all of us. And yeah, it was really productive. We still have ongoing work that came out of Paris. That there's a working group that's meeting regularly on something that I'm not talking about yet, but keep your eyes out. That's coming down the road. And yeah, there are plans to do more of that in the future. We're hoping that a summit happens again in the next year or two. And yeah, we're really excited for it. I think it's a very exciting step forward for the games industry specifically, but also I think it's a sign of sort of the growth of the labor movement internationally that like meetings like this can happen. Like we're really seeing like advanced growth within the space of like unionizing generally, I guess, and within the fight for workers' rights. So it's the privilege of my life to have been able to be a part of that. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic thing. And as I said, like back when I was at university, the idea of any of this happening was like a crazy pipe dream that we couldn't have really imagined. So it's so kind of heartening and encouraging to see how far it's come. And I do think it's going to go a lot further. No doubt, under your, tight-fisted, iron grip of the organization.
I try to keep
complimentary,
fairly lax, we're a member-led union is the thing we always fall back on. It's fully democratic. We vote on everything. So yeah, not too authoritarian.
Well, I hope your face adorns many dartboards in the boss's offices, game studios across the country.
I will say we have our annual general meeting coming up next month, and I'm running for a second term, so hopefully I'll be around for at least another few years. But yeah, obviously part of the project is always building the next generation and making sure it exists beyond the current. Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree.
Good luck, and maybe you can be in the next expansion from Bali.
I'm hoping it. I'm like I was helping them out with some of the actions that was happening around the start of the year, around the end of last year, and someone did say, because we had heard about this coming down the pipeline, that like they thought I would be in it. So when it came out and I wasn't in it, and I was like, well, what was the point of any of that? Where is my recognition?
So disappointing.
But Mind's Eye 2, the tyranny of spring. I can see it right now.
Hey, you know what? I didn't buy Mind's Eye. I'd buy that. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's one sold, and that seems like that would make up a significant proportion of the sales.
That might put them over the last one.
Yeah,
I should. I feel bad. I want to people made that game, and I want to respect them.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
A lot of good people worked on that game.
Yes,
but,
very good people worked on it.
I think I can fairly divine, having not played it, that everything bad about it is because of the management.
Yes, so, no, that's
yeah. Well, I think on that we'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us. I think Sophie's kicking herself for not coming. I think she's feeling really bad about it. But yeah, thanks for coming, and yeah, I guess we're gonna move on to the rest of the episode.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'll come back anytime. It was good to chat.
And we're back. Hope you enjoyed that incredible interview. We'd love to have the IWGB back anytime. We loved it. We loved those guys. Do they love us? We like to think so, but we can't really speak for them. But there is a little bit more of news. A little news smidgen. Not even sometimes we talk about news morsels. This is even less than that. It's a news smidgen.
It's a
news smidge.
And, frankly, it's mainly...
A news boosh, if you will.
A news boosh, yeah.
I will.
That's classic.
I will.
Exactly, yeah. And mainly, I'm just indulging the fact that I have a podcast and I can inflict my opinions on people. But Nintendo announced something in the past week, and that was a new Starfox game. And this had been rumored that they're going to put out a Starfox game, and they announced a direct, literally with 15 minutes to spare. They literally said it, and then 15 minutes later, it was on the internet, which threw people off. And this game is just called Starfox, and it is a remake of Starfox 64. Now, I have a history with Starfox 64. I love this game. For a period of time, I would say that was my favorite game. There was a period when I was a teenager where I basically came home from school every day and I played and finished that game through, which takes about 45 minutes. Did it every single day. I never actually submitted my score to this magazine because you had to record your entire playthrough on a video through a VCR. It was a mess, so I didn't bother. But I would have been in the top 10 of this high score list in this magazine, N64 magazine, if there's anyone who's older than me listening to this. And yeah, got to say, I'm not pleased with this news. The reason being that Nintendo, this will be literally the 4th time that Nintendo have released Star Fox 64. They released Star Fox 64 on the Nintendo 64. They released Star Fox 3D on the 3DS, which was a remake of Star Fox 64. They released Star Fox Zero on the Wii U, which was not very well thought of. It had a weird control system, but it was essentially a remaking or like a reimagining of Star Fox 64. And now they are just remaking it again. The rumor said that it was going to be a return to Star Fox, like the start of Star Fox, and I was excited because every other Star Fox game has had some kind of big asterisk of how it isn't very, there may be good things about it. It's got its fans, but it's not quite what people really wanted. And they still haven't done it. They're just putting out the same game again, and it's driving me crazy. Also, a lot of people have issues with the look of the characters. Have you seen these characters in Star Fox? The new Star Fox game is going a bit viral.
Yeah, I have. Everyone's comparing it to the original version of Sonic from the Sonic movie, aren't they?
Yeah, it is a bit.
It's a very strange vibe.
Yeah, this web page has a picture of it right at the top. There we go. There he looks like. It's a weird look.
Ooh.
Yeah, they basically made him look like a sort of real fox, though with kind of more human eyes. But like,
it's a weird look.
yeah, it's a weird look. I don't know. I've got to say, a lot of people are upset about this. I kind of came around on it. It's not so bad. You get used to it. But my main issue is just the fact that they are remaking this game for the 4th time. And one could even say that our Star Fox 64 itself was a reimagining of the original Star Fox. It's basically the same story. So they have, in a way, made this game 5 times.
It's not really a series, Star Fox, is it? It's just the game, and then I guess 1 or 2 other games.
Well, they made Star Fox Adventures, there is Star Fox Assault, Star Fox Command. There are other Star Fox games that aren't remakes of this, but they aren't also just like games where you straightforwardly fly a spaceship and shoot things in a row, in classic Star Fox style. I would like it if my dream is that I would like a remake of Star Fox 1, where they just make it with all the basic polygons, because it was a Super Effects game on the SNES, but they make it at 60 FPS and 4K and shit. That would be cool. And then maybe a game that kind of risks on the style of it. But anyway, I just wanted to rant about Star Fox. I love Star Fox, and it really upset me that they're remaking it again. It's insane.
My thinking when I saw this story was a few years ago, there were lots of rumors they were going to make a new Metroid Prime game, and then they announced Metroid Prime Remaster in 2023. But they were also actually making a real a Metroid Prime game, which then came out last year. So I wonder if this is that. The engine that they'll use to make an actual new Star Fox game, maybe?
There has been speculation that this is like basically some new team. No one's entirely sure exactly who has made this game. It kind of doesn't really look like Nintendo's general style, so people think it might be some external studio, but no one really knows that Nintendo genuinely keeps this secret until people analyze the credits and work out where these people work. But the theory is that, this is basically like a trial run to get some new team up on how to make a Star Fox game, and then they'll do a proper sequel. But like, Star Fox is not that complicated. They don't need a trial run to make a new one. They could just make the new one from the start. That's my opinion. But
I guess their concern would be like profitability. Like maybe they're just saying this is probably easier to make than a new game. So they're probably just saying if this makes them enough money for it to be worth it.
Yeah, maybe. So, I mean, Star Fox appeared in that Mario Galaxy movie, which I haven't seen. So that people weren't terribly surprised to see this, even if they hadn't heard the rumors. I will say that rumor that said there was going to be a new Star Fox, basically there was a leak that now seems like it's pretty reliable since it predicted this, that there wasn't going to be a new 3D Mario game this year, which everyone expected, but the big game for Christmas is going to be a remake of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, when that rumor came out, I think most of the speculation, and certainly I assumed that when they say remake, that means it's going to be like a reimagining, like a bit like the Resident Evil remakes we've been talking about recently, like a complete from the ground up reconsideration what it is, like the same basic story or something, but like rethinking everything. And I think most people thought that because they've already remade Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. When you played
Didn't they also remake it on the GameCube?
I mean, it was re-released, but it was exactly the same game. It's just a version of
okay.
it. I think it was slightly higher resolution, but not even that much. But now that they've shown that they are totally willing to just do a straight remake of a game they've already remade 3 times, I think probably this Zelda remake will just be a straight remake of the game from 1998, and that would be really shit. I would like to play a new version of that instead of just the same game I played a million times, but with an Unreal Engine filter on it. Anyway, that's my rant. Sofie, are you a big Starfox head? You a big fan of Starfox? Looking forward
I've
to
never
Starfox?
played it. No, I've never played it.
No.
I don't really know anything about it. Like I said, the only thing I know about it is do a barrel roll.
Do a
It's the
barrel.
only
That
thing
is
I
from
know.
Starfox, yeah.
And I don't even really know where
Yeah.
that comes from. I think I think I watched an explainer of that meme a while ago, but
You need an explainer of a rabbit saying do a barrel roll, because that's pretty much it.
yeah. Well,
Sorry, I'm
I guess
I'm
like
sorry for your
I've
disappointment
heard
to
the
find out there
meme.
wasn't more to it.
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, it's like I've heard the sort of like the soundbite of like do a barrel roll, and it just be like, oh, where's that from? It's like, oh, it's just from a video game, just a guy who said it in a video game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I won't degrade myself by doing it, but I can pretty much recite every line of dialogue in the correct intonation from that game from memory because that's how much I played it when I was a teenager.
And if we get 1,000 subscribers or whatever, then Alex will record himself.
You'll get to hear me
Alex.
say one of the greatest lines in all video games. Daddy screamed real good right before he died, which is a weirdly hard line for that.
Is that a thing?
It's said by a cartoon pig.
Oh. Okay.
It's pretty good one.
Okay.
But if you want to hear it instead said by a real man,
Yeah.
subscribe to the
I'm not
podcast.
gonna put on the I don't have Sophie's ability with voices. I can't put on the Southern American accent to do it. I'm not gonna do it. You're not gonna make me do it. Maybe in like episode 100 or something.
What if we have a Patreon?
that won't even be that long.
Patreon tier. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Very
episode
high
100 Patreon tier 2.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
You just get like a personal voice note of just Alex doing the voice line, and then by the time we're really popular and have like so many tier 2 patrons, he's gonna be like, here's the line.
We won't have time to do the podcast
There you
anymore. It'll
go.
just be Alex recording
delivering on the line.
that line. Man.
Just that bot
the
meme.
bleak
Say
future,
the line.
the bleak future we have to look forward to, or I have to look forward to. I'm sure. I think you guys would love it. But
yeah, you're right.
I think on that, we've had the interview.
Yep.
We've had me complaining about Starfox. That's it. That's the whole episode.
That's it.
For
Go away.
For you, the listener, that probably felt like pretty beefy. For us, it was quite short because we recorded the interview separately. So it feels weird for us. But it's it. It's really over. It's really over. Like every other episode. As always, we would desperately hope and wish and pray and beg and plead for you to share us online, share us on social media, share us among all your friends and family, share us with random people on the street, share us with, I mean, I'm not going to condone this, but if you like kidnapped like a famous celebrity and like coerced and induced to them to promote us, I mean, we would definitely not like it if you did that, and we would very much hope you didn't do that.
I'm not sure about that one, Alex.
Look, I'm saying, look. Some would say, not me, because clearly I condemn that as an action. But some would say that drastic measures are needed for the revolutionary zeal that our podcast will bring to the world once it's more widely known. Just consider that. Just consider that. And
just make a note of which one of us said that.
Yeah.
And when
I agree.
And the words that blindfolded Tom Cruise will nervously recite into the camera will be our Twitter and Blue Sky handles. I don't know, why not?
Isn't Tom Cruise the Scientology guy?
I mean, we don't have to be friends with him.
Well, we know he's brainwashable then.
It probably helps if we're not friends with him.
Yeah, we know we know he's vulnerable, I guess.
He will be telling you about how to find us on Twitter @Red Barrels Pod and on Blue Sky @Red Barrels Podcast alexdean.bsky.social. Me personally, you can find me on Twitter at alexdean, ALEXDUIN, and the same thing, .bsky.social on Blue Sky. Ed, how can people find you?
You can find me Blue Sky at not a lemon and on Twitter at still not a lemon. Sofie, please
You can
share
find
your
me
information.
On twitch.tv/sofreely, SOFREELY.
Okay.
And that's it.
Great.
As always, incredible music from incredible, brilliant drink. The drink is both brilliant and incredible. Maybe I'm upgrading them.
Very drinkable.
Very drinkable. And
We'd encourage our listeners as well to follow IWGB Game Workers Union.
yes, of course. And I'm
on
going to
socials.
edit this out because I'm now going to look up those socials, which I forgot to look up before. IWGB. Twitter. I meant to check if Spring has her own.
Forever legally implicated in Alex's Tom Cruise kidnapping plot.
Are they on
damn it.
Blue Sky as well? They probably are, aren't they? Yeah.
Stop implicating us in kidnappings, Alex, please.
Don't say anything funny because this is all going to get cut.
Okay. All right. And of course, we can't forget, we would like you to follow and get involved in, if you are eligible to get involved in, or just, donate to the strike fund or whatever, the IWGB Game Workers. And you can find them on Twitter at IWGB_GW. And you can find them on Blue Sky at gameworkers.co.uk. And that's it. That's it. We love those guys. We love Spring. Had a great chat with her. But
Thanks so much for coming on, Spring.
of course,
Thanks, Spring.
Spring has fallen. Spring has sprung. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of jokes about Spring. We didn't really use them in the interview. Maybe there's a missed opportunity. Maybe she'd really hate that. I don't know. I hope not.
Probably gets
We
that
love
all
you.
the time.
Probably.
So
Probably.
Yeah.
She's probably sick of it. She's probably
maybe for
sick
the
of it.
best.
She's probably sick of that.
Yeah.
And as a result, I think we should end the episode right now. Goodbye.
Right now.
Bye.
Bye.
Whoa! Didn't give us much warning there, Alex. Damn.
That's the fun bit. That's the fun bit.